When I was first elected mayor 20 years ago, I can tell you the park budget was tight. We had very, very limited funds to make any improvements in the park system and had not added any new parks or trails in a long time before I was elected.
You know, there's been an awful lot of changes in my time here in Grand Prairie, and I know my thoughts when I was first asked to be on the park board were parks and recreation are playgrounds and boys baseball. Was I really wrong?
Today, the leader in the Parks and Rec and the sports promotions in the city of Grand Prairie is the Parks and Rec Department. And it's only because of the leadership we've got. They stepped up to the plate and they actually came and said, what can we do together? And that made all the difference in the world.
I think that's the first thing that impressed me about the city. When they told me that the immediate three goals was ambulance service, economic development, and the Parks and Rec program. And I looked at them and I thought, wow, you know, that says something, that the council had enough vision to realize that Parks and Recreation was an important part of the city.
And when you have a supportive council and government that supports Parks and Rec and the quality of life here in Grand Prairie, it has been good. The last several years, we have some of the most outstanding facilities in the nation.
I think the biggest difference in years ago and today is that because the city has given us a quarter-cent sales tax, they have funded this Parks, Arts, and Recreation Department in a manner that we can function properly.
Having that quarter-cent sales tax allows our Parks Department to really be dreamers, looking forward. What can we do next?
I think there's many times a city needs a catalyst. They need something to say, hey, we can get out of the box, we can do something different, we can be the best of the best. And they put a tax on themselves to do that. Well, that said something. It said, we're ready. We want Grand Prairie to be on the map.
I mean, every place you look, people in Grand Prairie see what the parks has been able to accomplish. And that's exciting and gets people more interested in parks and out enjoying what we've been able to build.
Many times I would think, well, Grand Prairie, they look on it as a one-horse town. Now we have a stable full of horses. We're going to be growing and just watch our smoke.
We get things done together, and the overall picture of the difference between Grand Prairie, the city of Dallas, the city of Fort Worth, and the mid-city areas is they're all followers. There's no leaders, and we've got the leader.
It's the parks and those types of amenities that bring people to a city. You can have a workforce and you can provide jobs, but if there's not a quality of life outside of work, then those jobs ultimately aren't going to stay there.
We'll find that folks who have properties in areas that have these special features, those cities are able to attract new residents, and that translates into scarcity of real estate and can buffer against a declining real estate market and protect the property values.
People in the Metroplex respond to things that are built first class, and we saw that, and we've insisted that whether it's a police and fire training center, the new police station, the parks, whatever, anything that's been built, we built it first class, done it right.
Where we have parks facilities are really the areas that are growing the fastest, and that's not a coincidence. These areas are popular and they are attractive to residents because of the parks facilities that are nearby to them.
A good, robust park department, especially when you have children that want to get out and do things, can attract families to a city. And Grand Prairie has a robust park department and park system that will attract families to live here.
I mean, what's the biggest investment that they make in their life usually? And that is the home. It is for me. I mean, it's the largest investment I've ever made. And what I want is it to have value. So we want to use Parks and Recreation to deliver quality of life. We want it to increase the value of people's homes. We want it to bring in business. We think some of our parks attract other businesses. We've seen it. We've proven that can work.
We had always envisioned some sort of housing project on the property with the park being a natural amenity to it. When the summit was announced, that really steered our direction towards building the Aspens at Central Park. The Aspens is a senior apartment community. It's not the traditional apartment life, and it's not the traditional senior housing community.
And I've had people on a daily basis tell me the reason that they are looking at our property is because they want to stay in Grand Prairie, and the summit, specifically the summit, is why they are choosing that area. I've been doing this a long time. I've seen many senior centers, and I have never, and you'd agree, there's not one like it.
It's an amazing facility, and it's an award-winning facility that's 3 years old, and it's won awards every year since it's been open. It's one that you walk in and you say, I'm proud to be a part of Grand Prairie because of the summit.
When the summit came about, they took the seniors into consideration, and it's wonderful. We are treated like we are the very best people in the whole world. We're very envied from all the cities around, so a lot of people from our surrounding cities have joined simply because we've got the best.
I happened to visit the summit, and I thought, this is amazing. This is a 5-star spa for seniors. So based on that, when I returned, I spent time looking at houses and found a house in Grand Prairie. The variety of things they plan for the members are really amazing, and it's been a very great success from my view.
I had the opportunity to join the summit and began to really look at the facility more closely, and I was absolutely shocked. It's a state-of-the-art, first of its kind in the United States, and it provides every opportunity for every activity that a senior could want to do.
We've watched this drab little place called Grand Prairie grow into a really magnificent place. The Parks and Recreation have just been unbelievably beautiful. We're seniors, but I tell you what, you'd think was a bunch of kids.
We're not having to create a story from which to sell to residents and lease to residents. Grand Prairie, with their vision, created our story for us.
The summit, I think, is a great barometer of what's to come. The future of the park, I think, is going to be outstanding.
This is a 25-year build-out. Central Park is going to be a bigger appeal in 25 years than it is today. And for the city to have the forward thinking to invest that much land, money, time, and effort into building something like that is just, Grand Prairie's ahead of their time. In all respects, when it comes to parks, I think they're leading the way.
I think what you see now in Grand Prairie is a change from what we have had to new things that we have not had. We try to maintain quality in what we have, but we also want to provide new things that we don't have that will attract new people with different ideas and new desires and things that they want to have in their daily lives. And I think Parks does a great job of that. Part of that's Tangle Ridge. You know, I play golf courses all over the Metroplex and have tons of golfing friends that play golf courses all over the Metroplex, and Tangle Ridge is one of those courses where you play every day and you don't get tired of it. And the people that I talk to that are not from Grand Prairie have the same feeling toward it. There's several things that make up a satisfied golfer. And a satisfied golfer is one that plays on a well-manicured, well-taken care of golf course, has a great experience because the course layout is a challenge, but yet at the same time it's playable. and has aesthetics that you enjoy being a part of as a golfer. It brings the upscale homeowner to Grand Prairie. As you look at a city and its economic life, if you will, you need houses in all ranges. So the economic impact on our city from a upscale place to live situation, plus the taxes and things like that, just make a significant improvement to this city.
As the City of Grand Prairie grows, the Parks, Arts, and Recreation Department is going to continue to be a great steward to making sure that as we develop and grow, there is an eye kept on conservation. Conservation meaning we won't just see big paved lots, but we'll see trees, we'll see shrubs, we'll see open fields, we'll see flowers.
Grand Prairie is really good about planting old oaks and fruit trees and pecan trees and trees that are native to the area because they flourish here and they're tall and they last a while.
When we develop something, every aspect is planned out, and one important element of that is a conservation and environmental focus.
We really like the fact that we're part of the Arbor Day Society, and we like the fact that Grand Prairie keeps getting designated as a Tree City USA every year. We just got lucky that we happened to land in Grand Prairie because we didn't know of its dedication to keeping things green and keeping things renewable as much as they can.
And I think that's going to continue as we go forward. I know our city leaders care about that. I know our Parks and Recreation Department members care about that. I know the members of our Park Board care about that. And I know our overall citizenry cares about that.
You know, living in Grand Prairie, I'm fortunate to have a young granddaughter that lives here. And, you know, when I am spending time with her at one of our beautiful parks on the playground, it's pretty valuable. And, you know, that's free. I mean, there is no charge for our citizens to go into Lynn Creek Park. Hundreds of thousands of people come there a year, and they pay because they're coming from outside. But our citizens have that right here. Well, that's quality of life.
That's what the growth of Grand Prairie has done, is give everyone a buy-in to our city. Our programming has to reach out to every single citizen. And I believe that in Parks, Arts, and Recreation, we strive to do that and we achieve that.
Well, I got started playing disc golf with my son-in-law by throwing frisbees in the woods at tree trunks. And then we tried to find opportunities where we could grow the sport more closer to home. And so I called the director of the Parks and Recreation Department and I said, "Are you interested in new venues in your parks?" And he goes, "Absolutely." And so I said, "Well, I've got a really good one in mind." He said, "What is it?" And I said, "Well, it's disc golf. I'd like to put a disc golf course in one of your parks." And he said, "Man, that's fantastic. What's disc golf?"
The Parks and Recreation Department was very instrumental in bringing cricket to the city of Grand Prairie. When I first approached them, I did have trepidations because I didn't know if they would understand the concept of cricket. It's a new sport. But also, I had to convince them that with cricket, a new batch and a new brand of diversified people will come to Grand Prairie.
With the city of Grand Prairie, I have set up a program at Tangle Ridge Golf Club that is about team golf for juniors. And what we do is we structure it around getting kids involved, learning how to play golf on a team level, starting at a young age, going all the way through high school level.
We first started playing at Charlie Taylor. They kept the parks up well, but not as well as what we play like at Mike Lewis now. This will be our 33rd year to play in Grand Prairie. And during that time, I was thinking when I was coming over here, just trying to think of how many different players I've actually played on my team, and we're closing in on 200. We haven't quite got there yet, but we're getting close to 200 different players that have played just on my team alone.
You make a lot of friends out there, new friends all the time. You meet up with people, and everybody that plays out there, disc golfers, we're pretty nice folks.
And the beauty of it is, when all these people from different nationalities and different countries, they come together, but cricket is a common language that we all speak. So it really makes for a really a fun environment.
The Parks Department is going to benefit tremendously from this because it will not only help with the growth of the game within our community, but it'll also outreach other communities.
One of the benefits too of improving the fields like they have is getting other teams to come in here from outside Grand Prairie, and also for tournaments. I mean, they have several major tournaments every year, and one of the reasons is because of the upgrade in the fields.
We are the most talked about course in the whole state of Texas. People talk about how this is their favorite course. It's the best course in Dallas. It's the best course in DFW. Some say our course has the best holes in the state of Texas on it. We're top 10 in the country, some people think.
I can tell you that just in cricket, people admire what the Grand Prairie Parks Department has done for our club, and people are often wanting me to guide them and coach them and how they can take what I did in this city and apply it to other cities.
You don't know how many people have literally come to me out on the disc golf course and said, how do you do it? How do you convince your city to do all this quality work that they do? We can't get it done in our other cities, and they're from cities, in the DFW area around us. And I said, it's the people. It's the people. We have the best quality people you can imagine on our Parks and Rec department, and I wouldn't trade them for the world. That's why we are the gold medal city.
When our director gives us an opportunity to do something in Parks, Arts, and Recreation, we take a look and say, what would be great for the citizens of Grand Prairie? And then we think beyond Grand Prairie, because our events draw from all over the Metroplex. Prairie Lights is a drive-through Christmas park that was started in Grand Prairie about 10 years ago. 7 years ago, the city decided to take it over, and it has been an absolute bonus for our city. It is an experience where people drive through 2 miles of lights. Now it's grown to 4 million lights in beautiful custom displays designed just for Grand Prairie. We have visitors from 240 cities. Some of those, of course, come with families because of Thanksgiving and the Christmas holidays, but many travel just to see Prairie Lights. Several of our families tell us that it's absolutely a tradition. So we have become an absolute staple in Christmas holidays in the Southwest. It's a very expensive proposition for cities to provide this, because just think about your own electric bill. So when you think about the electric bill for Prairie Lights, a lot of cities have decided not to do those Christmas parks. But with our gold medal division of our award-winning Parks Department, it was determined that this was something that we ought to be doing. There was nothing like it in the area. And so it was just another opportunity for us to put a great tourism stamp on the city of Grand Prairie.
I arranged for a front page color picture of the people that were interested in that for the veterans, and we met at the site. The paper came out, took our picture, put it on the front page in color, and had all of the people that were involved as my cohorts in helping me to try to sell that to the council. And I took a U.S. flag and I put it in the ground, and I said, this is our land. We claim it for those that are interested in the veterans. And they put that on the front page.
When we first established the Veterans Park, I think we call it, it was a tiny thing. We had a slab of concrete, and we had the 5 columns, which are representing the 5 military services. We had no idea where it would go, and now, as you know, or people know, it's expanded tremendously. And so when we go there in November for Veterans Day, there will be several hundred people there. And that has come over a period of 8 years. And I think it's come because veterans now know they're part of the city. They are being recognized.
Oh, I think the veterans are just exhilarated by the activities of what the Parks and Recreation has done and is continuing to do for them. We have come into being a beneficiary of their generosity by providing us a place to meet, and that place being the old Senior Citizen Center.
The Parks Department has done some great stuff in providing a continual emotional support for the veterans.
It's important that the country, the community, the state, all the organizations at all levels recognize what these servicemen and women have actually given to their country. 2
or 3 years ago, we had an idea, and the Voices of the Veterans idea. It came about because I was sitting one day with an old gentleman, a World War II veteran, and I simply said to him, would you tell me your story? Where did you serve? And this guy sat there 30 minutes, and after the celebration was over, and kept talking about it. And so I thought, hey, maybe we found something here. And I think it has given a brand new dimension, and certainly a great interest from people like me and older and younger than me who served. They want their story to be told, and we're getting to let them tell their story.
The more the soldiers are aware of what's out there in the community, the easier it is for them on a day-to-day basis at home.
When we think of our soldiers and what we train our soldiers to be, we train them to be very self-reliant. They just carry on. They just carry the mission out. They just do what they have to do. Many of the times they don't necessarily connect to all the resources that may be available to them. And so that's why this event really kind of connected the dots for a lot of the soldiers out there by plugging them into what resources were available through military resources or what the country can provide, but then also what were locally available, and the Parks and Recs did an outstanding job in providing us an excellent venue for that. A soldier, particularly an Army reservist, is called a citizen soldier, and we wear the uniform on the weekends, but during the week you'd never know it. That's one of the things that kind of gets lost sometimes, is that they're a productive citizen out there, and that they should be plugged into some of those VA resources or some of those community resources or some of those other things that are out there to help support them. And the Family Readiness Program is an attempt to plug all those and make those available.
I think we have everything here that a veteran could hope for. I just have never seen any city recreation department like ours to aggressively find ways to serve its citizens. They have a touch of gold, and we're the benefiters. We're the folk who every day thank the good Lord for our Parks and Recreation Department. It's superior.
Well, the Grand Prairie Arts Council, we're a nonprofit cultural arts organization. We operate separate from the city, but with very strong support of the city. Our function is to provide arts programming for the citizens of Grand Prairie, get the residents of Grand Prairie, children through seniors, involved in any kind of arts programming. It's quality of life for the people who live here. It's things for you to do, for you to participate in, that enrich you and your children's lives close to home. But then it's also economic development. We bring people into Grand Prairie who have never been here before and are really surprised at what we have to offer. And they keep coming back. Anytime I call Parks and Recreation, I can call any person on the Parks and Recreation staff and give them a need that the Arts Council has, and they never say no. They will always find the person, find the way, find the event to make it happen. When we wanted the Uptown Theater, we could not afford the renovations that theater needed. The city is the one who provided the money necessary to develop that space. I've lived here 30 years. We have a number of people who were born and raised, and generations are still here, and they all have a link to the Uptown Theater. And when I went to the city manager asking about that and some other spots, could you help us develop a theater somewhere else? And the mayor called and said, how about the Uptown Theater? So it kept going back to the Uptown Theater. And without the city's help, it would not have happened. The Grand Prairie Arts Council has become a very successful organization in Grand Prairie, and we could not do that without the staff at our Parks and Recreation Department. Any event that we host, any programming that we do in the city of Grand Prairie, Parks and Recreation staff, Parks and Recreation facilities are an integral part of it.
The skate park acts as a great alternative establishment for local youth to partake in recreation. It's
it's unique in its own right compared to the other traditional sports. There's kids that want to do other things too, so to have that in the city is very special. People come from all over the Metroplex. We've even had people come for the weekend for lessons and programming from Austin, San Antonio, Houston, just to come in for a couple hours to be a part of something. To take that even further, we've partnered with the Dallas Stars of the National Hockey League, and we do a large event that's going into its 6th year that takes place at the American Airlines Center, which now we have people coming, magazines, TV crews coming from all over the nation to come and cover the event. That's, even though it's at the American Airlines Center in Dallas, it's based from our park here in Grand Prairie. My company is called Action Park Alliance, and we work with municipalities to operate their parks. So we created a very special private-public partnership, and with the partnership we have with Grand Prairie is a special one. They realize that it does take a certain type of people or person or group to interact with the kids, because skateboarding is a different culture. Those kids that may not be able to drive a ball over a fence or catch a deep pass, it gives those kids now somewhere to be put on a pedestal. Between everything and everyone that's been involved to help with the park, from the schools to the Parks Department, the council, the commissions, all the supporters, it's been about affecting kids' lives in a positive way and making sure that even the skateboard kids and action sports kids, the BMX kids, they're accepted and respected.
If someone said, why should a school district and a city parks department partner, the only answer that I would have is, why shouldn't they? There's nothing to lose. It makes perfect sense to give our kids and our community twice as much.
We're looking for community development. We're looking for personal development. We want to help these kids grow their bodies strong and their minds strong so that when they become adults that they can compete in their industries and be successful within themselves.
The Parks and Rec Department is an integral part of the sustainability of a community. It makes sense for us to partner because we have the same purpose.
Well, I think it's real important because the higher the quality of the Parks and Recreation Department, the more involvement that you're going to have from the community as a whole. And one of the ways that we tried to involve our community was through what we call P3 Project.
Yeah, the first P3 playground build was designed by my students. We built it in one day, and I'm still in awe. When I'm down, I drive by because that brightens my day a little bit.
In that one Saturday, we wound up with about 450 participants from our community, taking pride in building something for the children of our city.
The students that participated in designing and building the playground went on later in high school that they were in leadership positions. And I think the experience in this playground build helped prepare them to let them know they can achieve great things.
Well, particularly in the city of Grand Prairie, we've got a Hispanic population at some of our schools of 70%, 70+%. So I think it's important that we recognize the contribution of the different cultures. The Parks and Recreation Department has been a partner for Cinco de Mayo for the last 25 years. And without the participation of Parks and Rec, the event really wouldn't happen. From a tiny, tiny event, it's grown to where this last year there were over 2,200 people just in the parade, and we had, I would say, over 12,000 people throughout the day. I really credit the city and Parks and Rec particularly for the fact that we've given out over $241,000 in scholarships as a result of the Cinco de Mayo event. Couldn't exist without the participation of the city of Grand Prairie and Parks and Recreation Department, and obviously with the school district. It might exist, but would it be as successful as it is? I don't think so.
One of the things that's really important about our partnership with Parks and Recreation is that for a small nonprofit to acquire land in the city and to build a facility, it would be impossible for us to do it. In 2009, I developed a program with a couple miniature horses that I had for children with autism that is the first of its kind in the nation. Our program with miniature horses is very effective for children with autism because the children make a connection with the horses that they might not make with another human being. And so everything that we can do to bring the therapy to the kids into the city, give them a valuable program. We're in a park. The parents come out and they spread blankets on the ground. All the kids play and are there, outside the arena, and they'll spend hours there. So they're not only just watching their child, they're watching other children, and it builds a community. The mothers are all friends, the kids play together. It turns out to be a really, really nice way for a family to spend a Saturday afternoon.
People that have a religious following, they believe in the cause and they're committed to it. And the commitment of the parks to serve others, to help them improve the quality of their life, really does have a positive impact.
At that point in time, I wasn't exactly sure how much I weighed. I think that for the most part, I was complacent, and just the everyday, day-to-day, getting up, whatever.
And when I weighed 351 pounds, I was having a back problem. I got in a car wreck and hurt my back, and the more weight I gained, the worse my back got. So my wife started having some problems. So I said, well, I'm gonna have to take care of her. I need to lose some weight.
I mean, I'm the person that supports my family. I'm a truck driver. I'm the person that's supposed to watch out for them. And here I am now worrying, what if I'm not around? What if something happens to me?
So I had to find some way to lose the weight, and as fast as I could lose it, because the faster I lose it, the better off I'd be as far as taking care of the house.
No one told me to go to Bowls. That was just my first instinct. So that's why I ended up there at Bowls. I was in there the very first time. I lasted maybe 20 minutes on a machine that I almost fell off of twice.
And my motivation was the first 6 months, I was trying to lose 100 pounds. Well, I lost 98. Well, that's great. That's one of my great goals.
In my first year, I actually lost 100 pounds. I weighed 327 pounds. I was at 50 inches in the inseam. I'm down to 35.
I feel 100% better than I ever felt. I weigh less now than I weighed probably in close to 40 years.
More people should be there. It really needs to be utilized. It really does. It's a place that well, I mean, it changed my life.
I started coming to the natatorium in Grand Prairie with my therapist, and so we just basically we do all kind of different exercises in the pool. It's really therapeutic for me, it really helps out with getting my muscles to more flexibility in my muscles. I can do a whole lot more now because when I started out in therapy, I was my muscles and stuff were really stiff. And so it just really helped me a whole lot. It gives me a sense of peace when I'm out there in the water. I'm just escaping everything. I have quite a few hardships that I go through. Sometimes it's very difficult, but when I go to the pool, it's like all that just fades away.
The Grand Prairie Parks and Recreation Department truly is a tight-knit family. We truly care about the community. We care about the well-being of our citizens. We really want to see our young people succeed. We try to give them best of everything, the facilities, the programs, the special events.
It's very inclusive. I don't feel like, okay, the Parks Department is doing something and perhaps my child will feel out of place there, or maybe there won't be any activities for him to do, or even for us to do as a family. And I'm so happy to be in Grand Prairie.
Without a Parks Department, I honestly don't know what I'd be doing. I used to be the shy, quiet kid at Dalworth when I first started going, but after a few summers, I started talking more, started meeting new people, and as I grew up, I just kept making friends.
Even the camp counselors noted the fact that he was, from day one till the end of the third week, they saw a significant change in him. And I call it life-changing because he was kind of a little shy and kind of withdrawn a little bit, when he first started. By the time he was done, I could barely get him in the door, and he's already running off and taking off. And they said he was interacting with the kids more and all the counselors.
You affected me personally because you've made me grow more than I would if the Parks and Rec Department never existed. You've given me a chance to get out there and grow and experience and work with the Park and Rec Department to understand what this department is really about.
Our staff works, I think, 365 days a year, every holiday, every evening, every weekend. We do it all because we truly care. And it comes from the top, and we truly care about each other and our managers and our director.
Well, I don't think there's any question the Parks staff have done a great job on researching really what the citizens of Grand Prairie want, what we need, what we can afford, and they've done such a great job of making those dreams and a reality all over the city.
I think a lot of people can build a pretty building or even a pretty park, but I think what our team does, they don't only build beautiful facilities, but they bring them to life.
Cooperation-wise, I've never worked with any group in the city of Grand Prairie that gave me the cooperation that I've gotten from Parks and Rec. They move the earth for you.
Our Parks Department is second to none. And the reason for that is because they care. And they take the time and the effort to go above and beyond the job.
They're continually asking themselves, what can we do to reach more people? What can we do to change people's lives?
I would put our Parks and Recreation Department in the very top rank. If it's superior, then that's where we are. And that's not my opinion only, but that's an opinion of a national committee that evaluated our Parks and Rec and said publicly, this is the best in the nation.
It's a gold medal winning department because the people at the top encourage people at the bottom to be better and give them the opportunity to move up and do their jobs better.
Now that we have reached that stratus in all of the things that happened to Parks and Recreation, it didn't happen just by chance. We're the Olympic winner of a gold opportunity in Grand Prairie, Texas through Parks and Recreation, and everyone knows it.
But after they got that evaluation as the best in the nation, we didn't see a fall off. It wasn't just an attempt to get an award, it was an attempt to become the best. And they're maintaining that. And you gotta pat somebody on the back for that.
I might be a little biased here, but I think they're the best. And I'm just saying that because of my personal experience. They have been so supportive. They have been above and beyond excellent people to work with.
I've been in different states, I've been in different situations, and I've never seen such a passionate group of people who go above and beyond the call of duty.
Another aspect of what I see going on in the Parks and Rec staff and on City Council and things like that, but especially in the Parks and Rec staff, is this desire to not just put out venues, but to put out things that will really meet people's needs.
You think, wow, these people really care about the citizens.
What I'll say to our department is you are the best of the best, and you're making us the best of the best. You're making us a world-class city, and you know, I'm proud of you. I'm just so proud of this team. Again, not only a city manager, I'm proud of him as a citizen. I'm proud of him as a grandfather that uses those facilities. So you have made this city come to life for me, and you have improved my quality of life. So, hey, thank you for everything you do. We're not making you rich. You're doing it because you got passion, and passion's what makes us great.
Grand Prairie is an awesome, you know, a great city, and the people are just wonderful, you know, and they absolutely, you know, try to help out in whatever way possible. Everyone, young and old, should just come out and just experience what I've experienced. You know, the people are fantastic, and you would just have a blast.